How are you all doing? Welcome back to another video lesson at my channel. As you can see today, we are going to be looking at numbers larger than 10. To start off with, Northern Paiute is a base 10 language. And essentially what that means is that when you want to form larger numbers, say teen numbers or everything else, you form them by combining these base 10 digits, 0 through 9. And that's also what we do in English. If you want to form the number 15, you combine 1 and 5. If you want to say 38, you combine the letters or the numbers 3 and 8. And that's what you do in Paiute as well. But there are some elements, additional elements to add to it. And I will explain that in this lesson. But first, the base roots are what you see here, and I've already shown these in previous lessons. These are the base root numbers. Karu is just the word for 0, and then you have seme, waha, pahi, watse, manigi, na pahi, na takwatse, wokosakui, or nami watse, and finally seme karup. Those are the base 10 digits. Those are what we use to combine to form larger numbers. So the first step though, the first thing you'll want to add is mano'yu. This is the suffix used to form larger numbers by tens, such as 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, etc. You add this suffix mano'yu to the end of these root words that you see here. And this is what it looks like. 10 is seme mano'yu. 20 is waha mano'yu. 30, pahi mano'yu. 40, watse mano'yu. 50 is manigi mano'yu. 60 is na pahi mano'yu. 70 is na takwatsi mano'yu. 80 is wokosukui mano'yu, or nami watse mano'yu. 90 is seme karup mano'yu. And 100, there's a couple ways you can say seme mano mano'yu or seme kwete. And there's some other forms of 100 that I have encountered, and that's perfectly fine. There are different dialects of Northern Paiute, and so there are always going to be different ways of saying things or different pronunciations, and that is perfectly fine. So the next step, though, if you want to add the in-between numbers, such as all the teen numbers, or you want to be able to say 21, 22, 23, 24, etc. This is what you do. First, you take one of those that we just looked at, one of those larger 10 numbers, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, etc. I only have 10 through 50 here just to conserve space. But you take that large number and then you add whatever other root number that you want. And again, for convenience, I'm using the same root numbers for every one of these. So to form 11, you see I have seme mano'yu. I'm just going to add that same seme. And waha mano'yu for 20, I'm going to add waha to make 22, etc. And then I'll explain it further as we go along. So that's what you do. You take the root of the, or excuse me, you take the big large 10 number, then you add whatever root number you're wanting. And finally, well, not finally, additionally, you add this suffix ma. Ma is a suffix that means with. So essentially, if you look at that top line 11, essentially what you're doing is you're saying that you have 10, seme mano'yu, with 1. 10 with 1 means 11. Or 22, you have waha mano'yu, which is 20. Wahama is with 2. So 20 with 2. Pahi mano'yu is 30. Pahima is with 3, etc. But there's one final addition that we need to include, and that is here. But there are two main differences, and I kind of did a little survey asking around different communities of how they form numbers. And basically there are two main differences with a little bit of nuances, pronunciation differences, but basically the same. And so on the left side, we have this tsipugi or tsipuki or tsipoki. Again, little pronunciation differences, but basically the same. And that is how it is used in the communities of Walker River, Yerington, Bridgeport, Burns, Fort Hall, maybe more. I didn't get all the communities. And then to the right, we have this other word. It's tsibuikat or tsibuikad. Again, basically the same, just different pronunciations. And they use that at Pyramid Lake, McDermott, Mona Lake. Again, maybe other communities. I wasn't able to get them all. But basically, these are the two different ways to form these larger numbers. And what you do, well, actually, first off, I want to say, since I'm enrolled in Walker River, I'm going to be using the way we say it, tsipugi, tsipugid. And so, here's how it finally looks. You take the main big root or number, like 11 is sememanoyu. Then you put seme, then ma, and finally tsipugid. And what that looks like combined is this. Sememanoyu, semematsipugid. That's 11. 22 is wahamanoyu, wahamatsipugid. 33 is pahimanoyu, pahimatsipugid. 44, watsemamanoyu, watsematipugida, and 55 is manigimano, manigimatsipugida. And this again is breaking it down. 11 is 10 with 1 added. That word tsipugid basically means adding. You're adding something to it. So 22 would be wahamanoyu is 20 with 2 wahama tsipugida added. 30 is 30 with 3 added. 40 is 40 with 4 added. 55 is 50 with 50 added. I hope that makes sense. These are all the numbers now, 11 through 19. Sememanoyu, semematsipugida. Say it with me. 12. Sememanoyu, wahamatsipugida. 13. Sememanoyu, bahimatsipugida. 14. Sememanoyu, watsematsipugida. 15. Sememanoyu, manigimatsipugida. 16. Sememanoyu, napahimatsipugida. 17. Sememanoyu, natakotsimatsipugida. 18. Sememanoyu, wokosukimatsipugida. And finally 19. Sememanoyu, semekarupamatsipugida. And some random higher numbers just for funsies. 46. Watsemanoyu, napahimatsipugida. 72. Natakotsimanoyu, wahamatsipugida. And believe it or not, 38 is my age, is Bahimanoyu wokosukimatsipugida. And 24, Wahamanoyu watsumatsipugida. And again, you're just taking the big number, like the last one, Wahamanoyu 20. Watsumatsipugida means with 4 added. 20 with 4 added. But the numbers can be split. In other words, something can come in between one of these parts when you're actually using them in sentences. And here are 2 quick examples. A lady was sharing a story, and she wasn't entirely sure of a particular number, and so she said this: Ha nospaga, manigimanoyu, momoko ni mi, bahimatsu. And what that means is, how many is not known? 50 the woman said, with 3 added. In other words, she's saying, I'm not really sure how many there were. The woman said there were about 53. But notice, manigimanoyu, the word for 50, and then bahi matsipugi, with 3 added, is separated. What comes in between them is momoko ni mi, the woman said. So, that's fine. You can split them like that. Another example is this one. And that means there are 10 with 3 houses added. So bahima is 10 with 3. And then tsipoki, the word for added, comes after houses. So literally that means there are 13 houses. But house, the word for houses came in between. It means Again, there are 10 with 3 houses added. So keep that in mind. When in actual use, this pattern of forming larger numbers can be split. Matnusapa. That is all. A lot of information, I think, in one short little video. Hope it made sense. As always, wherever you are from, reach out to fluent speakers, to first language speakers, to your elders, and ask them how they would say these numbers and begin to use them as often as you can. Always. That is how we are going to begin to revive our language. We've got to put it to use every day as often as you can. So, Pishao Tabiwaga, have a good day. See you soon, hopefully.